Think like the top 1%. The Mindset and Habits Behind Extraordinary Achievement. Published by MindRise Audio. Introduction. Think like the top 1%. Everything changes the moment you change the way you think. The greatest difference between ordinary results and extraordinary success is not talent. It is not luck. It is not where you were born or what opportunities you were given. It is the quality of your thinking. Every achievement begins as a thought. Every habit begins as a choice. Every successful life is built through decisions that are repeated day after day. The people who reach the top 1% do not simply work harder than everyone else. They think differently. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They stay focused while others become distracted. They remain disciplined when others give up. Most importantly, they understand that lasting success begins long before the results become visible. That is what this book is about. This book is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming better. It is about replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. It is about making wiser decisions. It is about building habits that support your goals instead of holding you back. And it is about developing a mindset that continues to grow no matter where you are today. You do not need a perfect past to create a better future. You do not need extraordinary talent to make extraordinary progress. You only need the willingness to learn, to improve, and to keep moving forward. Throughout this audiobook, you will discover practical principles that successful people use every day. These ideas are simple, they are timeless, and they can be applied to every area of your life. You will learn how to take responsibility for your future. You will learn how to strengthen your discipline, improve your focus, manage your emotions, and think beyond short-term comfort. You will discover why your habits shape your destiny and why your environment influences your success. Most importantly, you will learn how to develop a mindset that continues to serve you for years to come. As you listen, do not rush. Allow each lesson to settle in your mind. Take a moment to reflect on the ideas that challenge you. Ask yourself honest questions. Imagine how your life could change if you applied even one principle consistently. Real transformation rarely happens overnight. It happens one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined action at a time. The goal of this book is not to fill your mind with information. The goal is to inspire meaningful action. Knowledge has little value unless it changes the way you live. Every chapter is designed to help you think more clearly, act more intentionally, and grow more consistently. Each lesson builds on the one before it, creating a strong foundation for lasting personal and professional success. No matter where you are today, your future is still being written. Your current circumstances do not define your final destination. Your daily choices do. The journey to the top 1% does not begin with a giant leap. It begins with a new way of thinking. It begins with a decision to raise your standards. It begins today. So take a deep breath, open your mind, leave behind the beliefs that no longer serve you. Prepare to challenge old patterns and build new ones. This is your opportunity to think differently, live intentionally, and create a future that reflects your highest potential. Welcome to Think Like the Top 1%. Your journey begins now. Chapter 1. Build the Mindset of Excellence. Every great achievement begins with a decision. Not the decision to become rich, not the decision to become famous, but the decision to become better than you were yesterday. This is the foundation of excellence. Most people believe excellence is something reserved for a gifted few. They think it belongs to world champions, successful entrepreneurs, brilliant artists, or exceptional leaders. They see excellence as a destination that only a small number of people can reach. That belief is wrong. Excellence is not a title. It is not a reward. It is not something you are born with. Excellence is a way of thinking. It is a standard you choose for yourself, even when no one is watching. The people in the top 1% do not wake up every morning asking, "How can I do the minimum today?" They ask a different question. How can I become a little better today? That single question changes everything. Imagine two people starting the same job on the same day. Both have the same education. Both earn the same salary. Both work the same number of hours. The first person does only what is required. They complete tasks just well enough to avoid criticism. When the workday ends, they stop learning. They hope that success will eventually find them. The second person approaches the job differently. They ask questions. They improve their skills. They look for better ways to solve problems. They pay attention to small details that others ignore. After a year, the difference between them becomes noticeable. After 5 years, the gap becomes enormous. The difference was never intelligence. It was mindset. This is how excellence quietly separates people over time. Many people wait for motivation before they improve. They tell themselves that they will start when they feel inspired. The problem is that motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel strong, some days you do not. If your progress depends on your emotions, your progress will always be uncertain. Excellence requires something stronger. It requires commitment. Commitment continues when excitement disappears. Commitment keeps moving when progress feels slow. Commitment builds the future one small action at a time. There is a story about a master craftsman who spent decades building handmade furniture. People often admired the finished pieces. They praised the polished wood and perfect design. One young apprentice asked him how he became so skilled. The craftsman smiled and gave a simple answer. "I never tried to build perfect furniture. I tried to improve my craft every single day." That answer contains a powerful lesson. The masterpiece was never the goal. Daily improvement was the goal. The masterpiece became the natural result. This is the hidden secret behind nearly every remarkable achievement. Great results are rarely created by one extraordinary effort. They are created by thousands of ordinary actions performed with extraordinary consistency. Think about the athletes who stand on the highest podium. People see the medal. They do not see the early mornings. They do not see the difficult training sessions. They do not see the years of quiet preparation. Success is always more visible than the habits that created it. The same principle applies to every area of life. Healthy relationships are built through consistent respect. Strong businesses are built through consistent value. Financial freedom is built through consistent discipline. Confidence is built through consistent action. Nothing meaningful grows without repetition. One of the greatest obstacles to excellence is comparison. It is easy to look at someone who is far ahead and feel discouraged. You compare your beginning to someone else's middle. You compare your daily effort to another person's years of experience. That comparison steals your energy. Instead of focusing on your own growth, you become distracted by someone else's journey. The top 1% understand a simple truth. The only person you need to outperform is the person you were yesterday. Every small improvement matters. Reading one chapter, learning one new skill, making one better decision, keeping one promise to yourself. These actions may seem insignificant today. Over time, they become the foundation of an exceptional life. Excellence also changes the questions you ask yourself. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of asking, "Can I do this?" ask, "How can I do this?" Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What will I become if I keep trying?" Better questions produce better thinking. Better thinking produces better decisions. Better decisions produce a better life. Another important part of excellence is personal responsibility. Blaming other people feels comfortable. Blaming circumstances feels easy. But blame never creates progress. The moment you accept responsibility, you also accept the power to change. This does not mean life is always fair. It is not. Everyone faces setbacks. Everyone experiences disappointment. Everyone encounters obstacles. The difference is how you respond. People with an average mindset ask why life is difficult. People with an excellent mindset ask how they can become stronger because of it. That shift changes everything. Excellence is also found in the smallest details: arriving on time, keeping your word, finishing what you start, preparing before you are asked, showing respect even when it is not returned. These actions rarely receive applause, yet they build trust, they build character, they build a reputation that opens doors long before you ask for an opportunity. Remember that success is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in ordinary moments that most people overlook. The conversation you choose to have, the book you choose to read, the habit you choose to repeat, the decision to keep going when nobody notices. These moments shape your future more than you realize. As you move forward through this book, keep one idea close to your heart. Do not chase perfection. Chase progress. Do not focus on becoming better than everyone else. Focus on becoming better than your past self. Raise your standards. Protect your character. Value consistency over intensity. Choose growth over comfort. Most of all, decide that excellence will become your new normal, because the journey to the top 1% does not begin with extraordinary talent. It begins with an ordinary person making an extraordinary commitment. A commitment to think differently. A commitment to act intentionally. A commitment to improve every single day. That commitment starts now. Chapter 2. Take full responsibility. There is one decision that separates people who grow from people who stay stuck. It is the decision to take full responsibility for your life. This idea may sound simple, yet it is one of the hardest lessons to accept. Most people spend years believing that their happiness depends on other people. They blame difficult parents. They blame unfair bosses. They blame bad luck. They blame the economy. They blame their past. Sometimes those challenges are real. Life is not always fair. People will disappoint you. Unexpected problems will appear. Some situations are completely outside your control, but there is one thing that always remains within your control: your response. That is where your true power begins. The top 1% understand a simple truth. They cannot control everything that happens to them. They can control how they think. They can control how they act. They can control what they choose to do next. That mindset changes everything. Imagine two friends who both lose their jobs on the same day. The first person becomes angry. They spend weeks complaining about how unfair life is. They wait for someone to rescue them. They replay the same story every day. Nothing changes. The second person feels the same disappointment. They also experience fear. But after allowing themselves time to recover, they ask a different question. What is my next step? They update their skills. They improve their resume. They reach out to new people. They apply for opportunities every day. Months later, they are in a better position than before. The event was the same. The response was different. Responsibility created a different future. This does not mean you should blame yourself for every problem. Responsibility is not the same as self-blame. Self-blame says, everything is my fault. Responsibility says, this is my life. I will decide what happens next. There is a big difference. One weakens you, the other strengthens you. Think about a captain sailing across the ocean. The captain cannot control the wind. The captain cannot stop the storm. The captain cannot calm the waves. But the captain can adjust the sails. The captain can change direction. The captain can keep steering the ship toward the destination. Life works the same way. You cannot control every storm. You can always choose how you navigate it. Many people give away their power without realizing it. Listen to the words they use. I cannot because of my family. I cannot because I am too old. I cannot because I was never given a chance. I cannot because things are different now. Each sentence hands control to something outside themselves. The more often you repeat those thoughts, the more powerless you become. Now listen to a different way of thinking. My past taught me valuable lessons. I may not know everything yet, but I can learn. I cannot change yesterday, but I can improve today. I will focus on what I can control. These words create action. They create confidence. They create momentum. The language you use shapes the life you build. One of the greatest examples of responsibility can be found in successful business leaders. Many companies fail. Some fail because of market changes. Others fail because of poor timing. Strong leaders do not spend all their energy searching for someone to blame. Instead, they ask honest questions. What did we miss? What can we improve? How can we serve people better? Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes valuable information. That is why they continue growing while others remain trapped in excuses. You can apply the same principle to your own life. When something goes wrong, pause before reacting. Ask yourself a better question. What can this experience teach me? Maybe it teaches patience. Maybe it teaches preparation. Maybe it teaches better communication. Maybe it reveals a weakness that needs attention. Every challenge carries a lesson if you are willing to look for it. Taking responsibility also means keeping promises to yourself. This is one area where many people struggle. They promise to wake up early. They promise to exercise. They promise to save money. They promise to read every day. Then they break those promises. At first, it seems like a small mistake, but over time, something more serious happens. They stop trusting themselves. Confidence is not built by making promises. Confidence is built by keeping them. Every time you follow through, you send yourself a powerful message. I can depend on myself. That message becomes part of your identity, and identity shapes behavior. Imagine a person who decides to walk for 20 minutes every morning. The walk is not difficult. The real victory is showing up every day. After a few months, they become someone who finishes what they start. The habit changes more than their health. It changes the way they see themselves. Responsibility always begins with small actions. Another important lesson is to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Many dreams remain unfinished because people believe they need more time, more money, more confidence, more experience. The truth is that perfect conditions rarely exist. The people who achieve remarkable things often begin before they feel ready. They learn while moving. They improve through action. Waiting feels safe. Action creates progress. There is an old story about two farmers during a season of drought. One farmer sat on his porch every day and prayed for rain. The other farmer also prayed. But after praying, he prepared his fields, he repaired his tools, he planted seeds. His neighbors laughed. "There is no rain," they said. "Why are you working?" The farmer smiled. "When the rain comes, I will be ready." Weeks later, the rain finally arrived. Only one field was prepared to receive it. Opportunity often works the same way. The people who take responsibility prepare before success appears. They do not wait until everything is easy. They act while others hesitate. Responsibility also changes your relationships. When disagreements happen, it is easy to point fingers. It is harder to ask yourself how you could communicate better, how you could listen more carefully, how you could respond with patience instead of pride. Owning your part in a situation creates trust. People respect those who admit mistakes. They respect those who choose honesty over excuses. No one is perfect. Everyone makes errors. The difference is what happens next. Do you defend your mistake, or do you learn from it? Growth begins the moment your excuses end. This chapter is not asking you to carry the weight of the entire world. It is asking you to carry the responsibility for your choices, your attitude, your habits, your words, your effort, your future. These belong to you, and that is good news, because what belongs to you can be improved by you. As you continue this journey, remember one powerful truth. The moment you stop blaming everything around you is the moment you begin building the life you truly want. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. It gives you the power to grow. It gives you the courage to change. It gives you the confidence to move forward. The top 1% are not defined by perfect circumstances. They are defined by personal ownership. Choose that mindset every day. Own your choices, own your actions, own your future. Because the life you want begins with the responsibility you are willing to accept today. Chapter 3. Think long before you act. Every decision has a future. Some decisions shape tomorrow, others shape the next 10 years. The challenge is that most people only see what is directly in front of them. They choose what feels easy today. They choose what brings quick comfort. They choose what offers immediate pleasure. Very few people stop and ask one important question. What will this decision cost me in the future? That single question can change your life. The people in the top 1% have a different way of thinking. They do not make decisions based only on the present moment. They think beyond today. They imagine where each choice will lead. They understand that today's actions become tomorrow's reality. This ability is one of the greatest advantages you can develop. Imagine planting 2 seeds. The first seed is watered every day. The second seed is ignored. For weeks the difference may seem small, but as time passes, one becomes a strong tree while the other never reaches its potential. Your decisions work the same way. Every choice is a seed. Some grow into opportunities. Others grow into regrets. The future you experience is often the result of the seeds you plant today. Many people struggle because they live for immediate rewards. They spend money they have not earned. They avoid difficult conversations. They delay important work. They chase entertainment instead of education. In the moment, these choices feel comfortable, but comfort has a hidden price. Every time you choose short-term pleasure over long-term progress, you quietly move away from the life you want. The top 1% understand delayed gratification. This means they are willing to sacrifice something small today for something much greater tomorrow. This is not always easy. In fact, it often feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is temporary. The rewards can last for years. Consider the story of a young professional who received their first steady paycheck. Many of their friends spent every extra dollar on expensive clothes, new gadgets, and luxury experiences. There is nothing wrong with enjoying life, but this young professional made a different choice. They saved part of every paycheck. They invested in learning new skills. They attended workshops. They read books. They built relationships with experienced mentors. At first, it seemed like they were missing out. Years later, those small decisions created financial freedom and career opportunities that their friends could not understand. The difference was not luck. It was long-term thinking. Long-term thinking also applies to your health. Skipping one workout may not seem important. Eating one unhealthy meal may not seem harmful. Staying up late for one night may not feel like a problem. But repeated choices become habits. Habits become your lifestyle. Your lifestyle becomes your future. Small actions repeated consistently always produce significant results. This is why successful people pay close attention to their daily routines. They know that every habit is writing the story of their future. There is an old story about a wise builder. Before placing the first stone, he spent days studying the ground. People laughed at him. They asked why he was wasting so much time. The builder simply smiled. He knew that a weak foundation would eventually destroy even the most beautiful building. Years later, storms came. Many buildings collapsed. his remained standing. The strength of the building was decided long before anyone admired it. Your future is built the same way. The invisible preparation often matters more than the visible success. Long-term thinking also changes the way you respond to failure. Many people experience one setback and immediately quit. They believe one mistake defines their future. But successful people see failure differently. They ask themselves what they can learn. They make adjustments. Then they keep moving. They know that one bad day does not create a bad life. One poor decision does not define a lifetime. Consistency always matters more than perfection. Another important lesson is learning to pause before making important decisions. Modern life encourages speed. Messages arrive instantly. Purchases take seconds. Opinions spread before facts are understood. People often react before they think. The top 1% develop a different habit. They pause. They gather information. They consider the consequences. They ask questions. Then they act with confidence. This simple pause prevents countless mistakes. Imagine receiving an email that makes you angry. Your first reaction is to respond immediately. Your emotions tell you to defend yourself. But instead of reacting, you wait until the next morning. After a good night's rest, your perspective changes. You write a calm response. The problem is solved. One moment of patience protects a valuable relationship. Thinking before acting often saves far more than acting without thinking. Long-term thinkers also understand the value of reputation. Your reputation is not built in one day. It grows through hundreds of small actions. Every promise you keep strengthens it. Every act of honesty protects it. Every decision reflects your character. People may forget your words. They rarely forget how you made them feel. Trust takes years to build. It can disappear in moments. That is why wise people protect their reputation with every decision they make. There is another danger that prevents people from thinking long-term. It is the desire for instant success. Many people want extraordinary results in a very short time. When progress feels slow, they become frustrated. They change direction. They start over. Then they repeat the cycle. Years pass with little progress. Meanwhile, someone else quietly stays committed to one path. They continue learning. They continue improving. They continue showing up. Eventually, their steady effort creates remarkable success. People call them lucky. They never saw the years of patient work behind the achievement. Patience is not passive. Patience is disciplined action over a long period of time. Every meaningful goal requires time, a strong career, a healthy body, a successful business, a trusted reputation, a fulfilling life. None of these are built overnight. Each one grows through consistent choices made over many years. As you make decisions in your own life, try asking yourself a new set of questions. Will this choice help the person I want to become? Will this matter 1 year from now? Will I be proud of this decision 5 years from now? Does this move me closer to my goals or farther away? These questions create clarity. They help you focus on what truly matters. The future is not created by chance. It is created by choices, thousands of them. Most are small. Many seem unimportant. Yet together they shape the direction of your life. Every day gives you another opportunity to invest in the future you want. Choose learning over distraction. Choose discipline over comfort. Choose preparation over procrastination. Choose integrity over shortcuts. Choose growth over convenience. Remember that every action has a destination. Every habit has a result. Every decision is creating the person you will become. The top 1% are not simply better decision makers. They are better future thinkers. They understand that success is built long before it is seen. They act today with tomorrow in mind. You can do the same. Think carefully, choose wisely, act intentionally, because the life you experience tomorrow is being shaped by the decisions you make today. Chapter 4. Master your daily habits. Your life is not shaped by what you do once. It is shaped by what you do every day. This is one of the greatest truths behind lasting success. Many people believe that extraordinary results require extraordinary actions. They wait for a breakthrough. They search for the perfect opportunity. They hope for one big moment that will change everything. But the people who reach the top 1% understand something different. Great lives are built through ordinary habits. They know that success is rarely dramatic. It is usually quiet. It grows in the small decisions that no one notices. Think about a bricklayer building a house. One brick seems insignificant. It does not look impressive. But the bricklayer does not focus on one brick. He focuses on placing each brick correctly, day after day, week after week. Eventually, a beautiful home stands where there was once an empty piece of land. Your habits are those bricks. Every habit is building something. The question is simple. What are your habits building? Many people underestimate the power of repetition. Reading 10 pages today may not seem important. Saving a small amount of money may not seem exciting. Walking for 30 minutes may not appear life-changing. Practicing a skill for 1 hour may not produce immediate results. But when these actions are repeated over months and years, they transform your life. Small actions become powerful because they multiply over time. This is why daily habits matter more than occasional effort. Imagine two people who make one tiny decision every morning. The first person begins each day by checking social media for an hour. The second person spends that same hour reading, learning, or planning the day ahead. At first, there is almost no visible difference. After a week, both lives appear the same. After a month, the gap begins to grow. After several years, they are living completely different lives. One decision, repeated daily, created two different futures. This is the hidden power of habits. The top 1% do not rely on motivation. They rely on systems. Motivation is unpredictable. Some mornings you wake up feeling energetic. Other mornings you feel tired. If your success depends on how you feel, your progress will always be inconsistent. Successful people remove that uncertainty. They create routines that make good decisions automatic. They exercise because it is part of their schedule. They read because it is part of their evening routine. They save money because it has become a habit. They do not debate with themselves every day. They simply follow the system they have created. That is why systems often defeat willpower. There is a story about a talented musician. People admired every performance. They believed natural talent was the secret. One day, someone asked how many hours the musician practiced before each concert. The musician smiled. "I do not practice before concerts." The audience looked confused. "I practice every day." That answer reveals an important lesson. Excellence is not created in moments of pressure. It is created in moments of preparation. Daily habits prepare you for opportunities long before they arrive. Another reason habits matter is that they shape your identity. Many people focus only on goals. Goals are important, but goals have a finish line. Habits continue long after the goal is achieved. Imagine someone saying, "I want to run a marathon." That is a goal. Now imagine someone saying, "I am a runner." That is an identity. Identity changes behavior. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, you naturally make disciplined choices. When you see yourself as a lifelong learner, learning becomes part of who you are. Every habit is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. One healthy meal says, "I care about my health." One completed workout says, "I keep promises to myself." One chapter of a book says, "I value growth." No single action changes your identity overnight, but repeated actions slowly reshape how you see yourself. That is where lasting transformation begins. Good habits are powerful. Bad habits are also powerful. The difference is that bad habits often produce immediate pleasure and delayed pain. Good habits usually produce immediate effort and delayed reward. This is why so many people struggle. The easier choice today often creates a harder life tomorrow. The harder choice today often creates an easier life tomorrow. The top 1% understand this trade. They willingly accept temporary discomfort because they know it leads to long-term freedom. Consider the habit of saving money. Buying something new feels exciting. Saving money feels ordinary. Years later, the excitement has disappeared. The savings remain. The same principle applies to health. Eating unhealthy food may bring pleasure for a few minutes. Healthy eating requires discipline. Over time, one habit produces energy and strength. The other often produces regret. Every habit carries a consequence. Choose carefully. Another important principle is to make good habits simple. Many people fail because they try to change everything at once. They create impossible schedules. They set unrealistic expectations. After a few days, they become overwhelmed. Then they quit. Real progress begins with small steps. If you want to read more, begin with 10 minutes each day. If you want to exercise, begin with a short walk. If you want to meditate, begin with 5 quiet minutes. Small habits are easier to repeat. Repeated habits become permanent habits. Consistency is always more valuable than intensity. Think of a river flowing through a mountain. The water is not powerful because of one wave. It becomes powerful because it never stops flowing. Day after day, year after year. Eventually, it reshapes solid rock. Your habits work in the same way. Small actions become unstoppable through consistency. Successful people also protect their habits. They understand that the environment influences behavior. If healthy food is available, healthy choices become easier. If books are within reach, reading becomes more likely. If distractions fill every room, focus becomes difficult. Design your environment to support your goals. Do not depend only on self-control. Create surroundings that make success easier. It is also important to forgive yourself when you make mistakes. Everyone misses a workout. Everyone skips a reading session. Everyone has difficult days. One mistake does not destroy a habit. Giving up does. The goal is never perfection. The goal is returning to the habit as quickly as possible. Missing once is an event. Missing repeatedly becomes a pattern. Protect the pattern. That is what shapes your future. Every evening offers an opportunity to reflect. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Did my habits move me closer to my goals today? What did I do well? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions create awareness. Awareness creates improvement. Improvement creates momentum. Momentum creates lasting success. Remember that your future self is watching the choices you make today. The person you become next year is being shaped by today's routine, not tomorrow's routine. Today's, the alarm you answer, the book you read, the conversation you choose, the food you eat, the promises you keep. Each one matters more than it appears. Mastering your daily habits is not about living a perfect life. It is about living an intentional life, a life where your actions match your values, a life where discipline becomes natural, a life where progress replaces excuses. As you continue this journey, do not search for one action that will change everything. Instead, search for one habit that you can repeat every day. Then protect it, strengthen it, build another when the first becomes automatic. Over time, those habits will build your character. Your character will shape your decisions. Your decisions will shape your destiny. The top 1% are not successful because they occasionally make brilliant choices. They are successful because they consistently make wise ones. Master your daily habits. Master your daily actions, and in time, you will master your life. Chapter 5. Develop unshakable discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Every person has goals. Many people have good intentions. Some even have a clear plan. But only a few have the discipline to keep going when the excitement fades. That is why discipline is one of the greatest qualities you can develop. It carries you forward when motivation disappears. It keeps you moving when progress feels slow. It helps you do what is necessary, even when it is not easy. Many people misunderstand discipline. They imagine a life without joy. They think discipline means working every minute of every day. They believe it is about punishment and sacrifice. The truth is very different. Discipline is not about making life harder. It is about making life better. It is the ability to choose what matters most over what feels good in the moment. That choice becomes easier every time you make it. Imagine a pilot preparing for a long flight. Before leaving the ground, every system is checked. The route is planned. The weather is studied. The fuel is measured. Why? Because discipline before the journey prevents problems during the journey. Life works the same way. Preparation creates confidence. Consistency creates results. The people in the top 1% rarely depend on how they feel. They understand that feelings change. Some mornings you wake up full of energy. Other mornings you feel tired. If you only act when you feel inspired, your progress will stop whenever your emotions change. Discipline removes that uncertainty. It says, I will do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. That simple decision creates extraordinary results over time. Think about a successful author. People admire the finished book. They rarely think about the months or years spent writing one page at a time. There were days when the words flowed easily. There were days when nothing seemed to work. The author continued anyway. The completed book was not created by inspiration alone. It was created by disciplined effort. The same principle applies to every meaningful achievement. Discipline always wins the long race. One of the biggest enemies of discipline is comfort. Comfort is attractive because it asks nothing from you. It encourages delay. It whispers that tomorrow is a better day to begin. But tomorrow often becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And before long, years have passed. The top 1% recognize this trap. They understand that comfort is valuable when it provides rest. It becomes dangerous when it replaces growth. Growth usually begins where comfort ends. There is a story about a young athlete who wanted to become a champion. Every morning, the coach arrived before sunrise. The athlete often wondered why training had to begin so early. One cold morning, the athlete asked the coach, "Does waking up this early really make a difference?" The coach smiled and pointed to the empty field. "Look around. There is no competition here. Most people are still sleeping." Every morning you choose discipline. You quietly move ahead of those who choose comfort. Years later, the athlete understood the lesson. Great success is often built during hours that no one else sees. Discipline is strongest when nobody is watching. Another important truth is that discipline is a skill. It is not something you either have or do not have. Like any skill, it becomes stronger through practice. The first time you wake up early, it may feel difficult. The first time you choose healthy food over unhealthy food, it requires effort. The first time you finish an important task before checking your phone, you may feel uncomfortable. Each repetition strengthens your ability to make the right choice. Eventually, discipline becomes part of your character. Small victories matter. Many people wait for a major achievement before they feel successful. The disciplined person thinks differently. They celebrate finishing today's work. They celebrate keeping a promise. They celebrate following through on a commitment. These small victories build confidence. Confidence builds momentum. Momentum makes discipline easier to maintain. This is why daily consistency is more valuable than occasional intensity. You do not have to do everything today. You simply have to keep showing up. Discipline also requires clear priorities. You cannot say yes to everything. Every yes is also a no to something else. If you say yes to endless distractions, you say no to meaningful progress. If you say yes to procrastination, you say no to opportunity. Successful people protect their time because they understand its value. They know that time cannot be replaced. Money can be earned again. Lost time cannot. This is why they choose carefully. They focus on work that matters. They avoid activities that steal attention without creating value. Learning to say no is one of the highest forms of discipline. There is another lesson that many people overlook. Discipline becomes easier when your environment supports it. Imagine trying to read while the television is playing loudly. Imagine trying to eat healthy while unhealthy food fills your kitchen. Imagine trying to focus while your phone constantly demands attention. The environment influences your behavior. Wise people prepare their surroundings for success. They remove distractions. They organize their workspace. They make good choices easier. Instead of fighting temptation every day, they reduce it before it appears. This simple strategy protects discipline. There will also be days when you fail. Everyone experiences them. You may skip a workout. You may waste an afternoon. You may lose focus. Do not allow one mistake to become an excuse. One missed day does not erase months of progress. The disciplined person does not expect perfection. They expect persistence. When they fall behind, they begin again, without self-pity, without excuses, without delay. This ability to recover quickly is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Discipline is also connected to self-respect. Every promise you keep strengthens your trust in yourself. Every promise you break weakens it. If you tell yourself that you will wake up at 6 o'clock, then wake up. If you promise to finish a project, finish it. If you decide to read for 20 minutes, read for 20 minutes. These actions may seem small, but they shape your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. That identity changes everything. There is a quiet confidence that belongs to disciplined people. It does not come from talking, it comes from doing. They know what they are capable of because they have proven it to themselves repeatedly. That confidence cannot be purchased, it cannot be borrowed, it must be earned. As your discipline grows, you will notice another change. Difficult tasks become less intimidating. Challenges become opportunities to improve. You stop asking whether something is easy. You begin asking whether it is worthwhile. That shift in thinking separates high performers from everyone else. Remember that discipline is not about creating a perfect schedule. It is about creating a dependable character. It is choosing action over excuses. It is choosing purpose over comfort. It is choosing progress over procrastination. Every disciplined choice is an investment in your future. No one else can make those choices for you. No one else can build your habits. No one else can create your success. That responsibility belongs to you. The good news is that so does the reward. Each day offers another chance to strengthen your discipline. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you started. Honor your commitments. Keep moving forward. Do it when you feel motivated. Do it when you do not. Because discipline is not measured by what you accomplish on your best days. It is measured by what you continue to do on your hardest days. The top 1% are not defined by extraordinary talent. They are defined by extraordinary consistency. Their discipline becomes their advantage. Make it yours. Develop unshakable discipline. Protect it every day, and it will become one of the greatest forces shaping the life you build. Chapter 6. Control your emotions. Your emotions are powerful. They can inspire courage. They can deepen relationships. They can help you recognize joy, gratitude, and purpose. But if your emotions control your decisions, they can also become your greatest obstacle. The people in the top 1% understand an important truth. They do not ignore their emotions. They do not pretend they never feel fear, anger, disappointment, or doubt. Instead, they learn to manage those emotions wisely. They understand that feelings are real, but feelings are not always reliable guides. Success depends on making decisions based on values and purpose rather than temporary emotions. Imagine you are driving through a thick fog. The road ahead is difficult to see. If you panic and make sudden movements, you increase the risk of an accident. The safest choice is to slow down. Stay calm. Keep your eyes on the road. Move forward one careful step at a time. Emotions work in a similar way. When your mind is clouded by anger or fear, rushing into a decision often creates bigger problems. Calm thinking brings better direction. One of the greatest differences between average performers and exceptional ones is emotional control under pressure. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. The real test comes during disappointment. How do you respond when plans fail? How do you react when someone criticizes you? What do you do when progress feels slow? Your answers reveal far more about your future than your talents ever will. There is a story about a young manager who had spent months preparing an important presentation. On the day of the meeting, unexpected technical problems caused everything to stop working. Several people in the room became frustrated. Some complained, others blamed the equipment. The manager took a deep breath. Instead of reacting with anger, he calmly continued without the slides. He explained his ideas with confidence. The meeting ended successfully. Afterward, a senior executive said something that changed his career. "I was not impressed because everything went perfectly. I was impressed because you stayed calm when nothing went according to plan." That moment earned him greater trust and bigger opportunities. His emotional control became his advantage. Life will not always follow your plans. Unexpected events are unavoidable. What matters is how you respond. When emotions become intense, remember one simple principle: pause before you react. A few moments of patience can prevent hours, days, or even years of regret. Many relationships have been damaged by words spoken in anger. Many careers have suffered because of impulsive decisions. Many opportunities have disappeared because someone reacted before thinking. The pause is powerful. It gives wisdom time to speak. Another emotion that often holds people back is fear. Fear itself is not the enemy. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty. The problem begins when fear becomes the decision maker. Many dreams remain unfinished because people wait until they no longer feel afraid. That day rarely comes. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means taking the next step despite fear. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. The child falls, gets back up, falls again. With each attempt, confidence grows. If fear had been allowed to win after the first fall, the child would never have learned to ride. Adults often face the same challenge. The only difference is that our fears become more complicated. We fear failure, we fear rejection, we fear criticism, we fear looking foolish. Yet almost every successful person has experienced these same emotions. They simply refuse to let fear decide their future. Another emotion that deserves attention is anger. Anger often feels powerful. In reality, uncontrolled anger usually weakens judgment. It narrows your thinking. It encourages actions you later regret. The top 1% know that anger should be managed, not obeyed. When you feel anger rising, ask yourself a question: what outcome do I truly want? If your goal is to solve a problem, anger rarely helps. If your goal is to strengthen a relationship, patience serves you far better. Choosing a calm response is not weakness. It is strength under control. Disappointment is another emotion everyone experiences. Not every effort produces immediate success. Not every opportunity works out. Not every relationship lasts. These moments can leave you feeling discouraged. But disappointment does not have to become defeat. It can become a teacher. Every setback carries information. Every mistake reveals something valuable. The disciplined mind asks, "What can I learn from this experience?" That question transforms pain into progress. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions you can develop. It shifts your attention from what is missing to what is already present. Gratitude does not ignore challenges. It simply refuses to let challenges become the whole story. Imagine ending each day by remembering 3 things that went well. Perhaps someone encouraged you. Perhaps you solved a difficult problem. Perhaps you simply enjoyed a quiet moment with your family. These small moments create a healthier perspective. A grateful mind is more resilient during difficult seasons. Emotional control also depends on self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotional patterns. What situations make you impatient? What conversations create anxiety? What habits increase your stress? The more you understand yourself, the more wisely you can respond. Self-awareness gives you choices. Without it, emotions often operate on automatic habits. One practical habit is learning to separate facts from feelings. Imagine sending an important message and receiving no reply. Your feelings may immediately tell you that the other person is upset or that you have done something wrong. But those are assumptions. The fact is simple. They have not replied yet. The story your emotions create is not always reality. Successful people avoid making important decisions based on assumptions. They seek clarity first. Another important lesson is to guard what enters your mind. The conversations you listen to, the news you consume, the people you spend time with, the content you watch every day. All of these influence your emotional state. If your mind is constantly filled with negativity, worry becomes easier. If your mind is filled with wisdom, hope, and purpose, emotional strength becomes easier. Protect your mind with the same care you protect your health. The quality of what enters your mind eventually shapes the quality of what comes out. Forgiveness is also a form of emotional freedom. Holding on to resentment may feel justified, but over time it becomes a heavy burden. Forgiveness does not excuse harmful behavior. It simply releases you from carrying the weight of bitterness. Sometimes the person who benefits most from forgiveness is the one who chooses to forgive. You free your own heart to move forward. As you continue your journey, remember that emotional mastery is not achieved in one day. It is developed through daily practice. Each time you choose patience over anger, you grow stronger. Each time you choose courage over fear, you become more confident. Each time you choose gratitude over complaint, your perspective improves. These choices shape your character, and character shapes your destiny. The top 1% are not successful because they never experience difficult emotions. They are successful because they refuse to become controlled by them. They think before they react. They learn before they judge. They breathe before they speak. They choose purpose over impulse. You have that same choice every single day. Your emotions are valuable. Listen to them, learn from them, but never allow them to become the leader of your life. Lead your emotions with wisdom, guide your actions with purpose, and you will discover a strength that no circumstance can easily shake. Chapter 7. Focus on what truly matters. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Once a moment has passed, you can never get it back. You can earn more money. You can learn new skills. You can recover from failure, but you cannot recover the time you have wasted. This is why the people in the top 1% guard their attention so carefully. They understand that where attention goes, results follow. Every day, the world competes for your focus. Your phone vibrates, emails arrive, news headlines demand your attention. Social media offers endless entertainment. People ask for your time. New opportunities appear. None of these things are necessarily bad. The challenge is that they can quietly pull you away from what matters most. The greatest danger is not always doing the wrong things. Sometimes it is spending your life doing too many unimportant things. Imagine a captain steering a ship across the ocean. The destination is clear. But every few minutes, the captain changes direction. A little to the left, a little to the right, then somewhere else again. Even small changes eventually lead the ship far away from its intended destination. Life works the same way. Every distraction may seem small. Over time, countless distractions can completely change the direction of your future. The top 1% understand the difference between being busy and being productive. Busy people fill every hour with activity. Productive people fill their hours with meaningful activity. There is a difference. Answering dozens of emails may feel productive. Attending endless meetings may look important. Checking your phone every few minutes may keep you occupied, but none of those actions necessarily move your life forward. Progress comes from doing the right work, not simply doing more work. There is a story about an experienced gardener who cared for a beautiful orchard. One day, a visitor asked why the trees produced such healthy fruit year after year. The gardener smiled and pointed toward a pile of freshly cut branches. "I spend just as much time cutting away what does not belong as I do watering what remains." That simple lesson applies to every successful life. Growth requires addition. Greatness requires subtraction. Sometimes success is not about doing more. It is about removing what no longer serves your purpose. Every time you say yes to something, you also say no to something else. When you say yes to endless distractions, you say no to deep work. When you say yes to procrastination, you say no to progress. When you say yes to temporary comfort, you often say no to long-term achievement. Learning to choose wisely is one of the greatest skills you can develop. One practical habit is identifying your highest priority each day. Before checking messages, before opening social media, before responding to other people's requests. Ask yourself one simple question. What is the most important thing I can accomplish today? Then begin with that task. Not after lunch, not later this evening. Start first. Your energy is strongest at the beginning of the day. Use it for work that truly matters. Another challenge to focus is the desire to do everything at once. Many people believe multitasking makes them more efficient. In reality, constantly switching between tasks often reduces the quality of every task. Imagine trying to read a book while watching a movie and listening to a podcast at the same time. None of them receives your full attention. Your mind becomes divided. The same thing happens during your work. Deep focus requires your complete presence. When you give one task your full attention, the quality of your work improves. You finish faster. You make fewer mistakes. You experience greater satisfaction. The top 1% know that focused work creates exceptional results. Focus also requires knowing your purpose. If you are not clear about where you are going, every opportunity begins to look equally important. Without direction, it becomes easy to chase every new idea, every trend, every opinion, every shortcut. But people with a clear purpose ask a different question. Does this help me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, they move on. Clarity protects focus. Another important lesson is learning to protect your environment. Your surroundings influence your attention more than you realize. A cluttered workspace often creates a cluttered mind. Constant noise makes concentration difficult. Endless notifications interrupt your thinking. Simple changes can make a remarkable difference. Keep your workspace organized. Turn off unnecessary alerts. Set specific times to check messages. Create moments of quiet where your mind can think deeply. You do not need more hours in the day. You need fewer interruptions during the hours you already have. There is a story about a sculptor creating a magnificent statue from a large block of marble. A visitor watched with curiosity. After weeks of careful work, the statue was complete. The visitor asked, "How did you create something so beautiful?" The sculptor replied, "I simply removed everything that did not belong." Success often works the same way. Your greatest life is already waiting within your potential. Your task is to remove what distracts you from it. Remove unnecessary worry. Remove endless comparison. Remove habits that steal your time. Remove commitments that do not align with your purpose. As distractions disappear, your true priorities become much clearer. Focus also means giving your full attention to the people who matter. Many conversations today happen while someone is checking a phone. Many family meals are interrupted by notifications. Many friendships slowly weaken because presence has been replaced by distraction. One of the greatest gifts you can offer another person is your complete attention. Listen carefully. Look them in the eye. Be fully present. Strong relationships are built through moments of genuine connection. Those moments require focus. There will always be opportunities you must decline. This can feel uncomfortable. You may worry about disappointing others, but remember this: every successful person has learned the power of saying no. Not because they dislike helping others, but because they understand that protecting their priorities allows them to make their greatest contribution. When your schedule is filled with everything, it has room for nothing truly meaningful. Rest is also an important part of focus. A tired mind struggles to think clearly. Working longer hours is not always the answer. Sometimes stepping away allows you to return with greater creativity and better judgment. The top 1% understand the value of recovery. They know that a rested mind performs better than an exhausted one. Balance strengthens focus. At the end of each day, take a few quiet moments to reflect. Ask yourself simple questions. What received most of my attention today? Did my actions match my priorities? What distracted me? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions create awareness. Awareness leads to better choices. Better choices create a better future. Remember that your attention is shaping your life every single day. Whatever consistently receives your focus will eventually grow. If you focus on excuses, excuses become stronger. If you focus on opportunities, opportunities become easier to recognize. If you focus on improvement, improvement becomes your way of life. You become what you consistently pay attention to. The people in the top 1% do not succeed because they have more time than everyone else. They succeed because they use their attention more wisely. They know what deserves their energy. They know what to ignore. They understand that greatness is not created by chasing everything. It is created by committing fully to what matters most. Choose your priorities carefully. Protect your attention every day. Focus deeply. Work intentionally. Live purposefully. Because the quality of your focus will determine the quality of your future. Chapter 8. Solve problems like a leader. Every life contains problems. No one escapes them. Every business faces obstacles. Every family experiences challenges. Every career includes setbacks. The difference between average people and the top 1% is not the number of problems they face. The difference is how they respond. Most people see problems as roadblocks. Leaders see problems as opportunities to grow. That shift in perspective changes everything. When you learn to solve problems instead of avoiding them, you become more valuable. And the more value you create, the more opportunities come your way. Imagine a ship crossing the ocean. No captain expects perfectly calm water every day. Storms are part of the journey. Strong captains do not waste time complaining about the weather. They study the conditions. They adjust the sails. They guide the ship forward. Leadership begins with this mindset. Accept that challenges are part of life. Then focus your energy on finding the best response. One of the greatest mistakes people make is reacting emotionally before understanding the problem. Something goes wrong. They panic. They blame others. They become frustrated. They spend more time talking about the problem than solving it. Leaders do something different. They pause, they observe, they ask questions. Only then do they decide what to do. This habit alone can save countless hours of unnecessary stress. Imagine a small business owner who arrives one morning and discovers that sales have dropped sharply. One response would be to panic. Another would be to blame the economy. Another would be to criticize employees. A leader takes a different approach. They gather information. They speak with customers. They review the numbers. They look for patterns. Soon they discover that customer needs have changed. Instead of complaining, they improve their products and service. Sales begin to recover. The problem became an opportunity to improve. That is the mindset of leadership. Every problem carries information. If you are willing to learn, every challenge becomes a teacher. Failure often reveals weaknesses that success hides. Mistakes show you where improvement is needed. Difficult people teach patience. Unexpected changes develop adaptability. Nothing is wasted when you choose to learn. Ask yourself a simple question whenever you face a challenge. What is this situation trying to teach me? Sometimes the lesson is preparation. Sometimes it is communication. Sometimes it is humility. Sometimes it is resilience. Whatever the lesson may be, accepting it makes you stronger. Another quality of great leaders is personal responsibility. When problems appear, average people search for someone to blame. Leaders search for solutions. Blame may feel satisfying for a moment. It rarely improves the situation. Solutions create progress. Imagine two managers leading different teams. Both teams miss an important deadline. The first manager immediately criticizes everyone. Fear spreads through the team. People stop sharing ideas because they worry about making mistakes. The second manager gathers everyone together. They calmly ask what happened. They identify weaknesses in the process. They improve communication. The next project is completed successfully. The difference was not intelligence. It was leadership. People naturally trust leaders who remain calm during difficult moments. Calmness creates confidence. Confidence inspires action. Leadership also requires clear thinking. Not every problem deserves immediate action. Some problems disappear with time. Others become worse if ignored. Wisdom comes from knowing the difference. This is why successful leaders ask thoughtful questions before making decisions. What is the real problem? What caused it? What solutions are available? What are the possible consequences of each option? Which solution creates the greatest long-term benefit? These questions slow down impulsive thinking. They replace assumptions with understanding. Strong decisions begin with clear questions. There is a story about an experienced engineer who was called to repair a factory machine. The machine had stopped working. Several technicians had tried to fix it without success. The engineer walked around the machine quietly. He listened carefully. After several minutes, he tightened one small bolt. The machine immediately started working again. Someone asked why such a small adjustment made such a big difference. The engineer smiled. The value was not in turning the bolt. The value was knowing which bolt to turn. Leadership is often like that. The best leaders do not create unnecessary complexity. They identify the real issue. Then they focus their effort where it matters most. Another important lesson is to separate facts from assumptions. When problems arise, people often create stories before they know the truth. A client has not responded. You assume they are unhappy. A coworker seems quiet. You assume they are upset with you. A project slows down. You assume everything is failing. These assumptions create unnecessary stress. Leaders seek facts before reaching conclusions. Facts create clarity. Clarity creates better decisions. Leaders also understand the importance of teamwork. Not every problem must be solved alone. Sometimes another person's experience provides the answer you need. Asking for advice is not weakness, it is wisdom. Strong leaders welcome different perspectives. They listen carefully. They remain open to learning. Confidence without humility often creates costly mistakes. True confidence is willing to admit when help is needed. Problem solving also requires creativity. Many people search for familiar answers. Leaders ask new questions. What if we approached this differently? What solution have we not considered? What opportunity exists within this challenge? Innovation often begins with curiosity. Curiosity expands possibilities. Fear limits them. Resilience is another quality every leader must develop. Not every solution works the first time. Sometimes you must try again and again. Many of the world's greatest inventions were created after countless failed attempts. The inventors did not see failure as proof that success was impossible. They saw failure as valuable feedback. Each attempt brought them closer to the answer. You can adopt the same mindset. Do not fear mistakes. Fear refusing to learn from them. One practical habit is keeping a solution journal. Whenever you solve a difficult problem, write down what happened. Record what worked. Record what did not. Over time, you create your own library of experience. Future challenges become easier because you have learned from the past. Experience is one of the greatest teachers when you take time to reflect. Remember that every problem affects two things. It affects the situation itself. It also affects the person solving it. Each challenge develops your patience, your wisdom, your confidence, your resilience, your leadership. The problem may eventually disappear. The growth remains with you forever. As you continue your journey, stop asking why problems always appear. Instead, ask how each challenge can make you stronger. That simple change in thinking transforms obstacles into opportunities. The top 1% are not people who avoid difficult situations. They are people who become stronger because of them. They remain calm when others panic. They think clearly when others react emotionally. They search for answers while others search for excuses. They focus on progress instead of blame. You have the ability to develop the same mindset. Face each challenge with curiosity. Approach each obstacle with confidence. Look for lessons instead of limitations. Lead with wisdom. Act with purpose. Keep moving forward, because every problem you solve today prepares you to handle even greater opportunities tomorrow. That is the mindset of a true leader, and it is a mindset that will serve you for the rest of your life. Chapter 9. Create lasting confidence. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood qualities in the world. Many people believe confident individuals are born that way. They assume confidence comes from talent, appearance, intelligence, or success. But lasting confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. It grows through your choices. It grows through your actions. It grows through the promises you keep to yourself. The people in the top 1% are not confident because life has always been easy. They are confident because they have faced challenges and continued moving forward. Each obstacle they overcame became evidence that they could overcome the next one. That is how real confidence is created. Imagine learning to swim. The first time you step into deep water, you may feel uncertain. Reading books about swimming can help. Watching videos can teach techniques. Listening to experienced swimmers can provide guidance. But none of those things can replace getting into the water. Confidence comes from experience. The same principle applies to every area of life. You become confident by doing, not by waiting. Many people delay action because they believe confidence should come first. They tell themselves they will start the business when they feel more confident. They will apply for the promotion when they feel more confident. They will speak in public when confidence finally arrives. The problem is that confidence usually appears after action, not before it. Action creates experience. Experience creates competence. Competence creates confidence. That is the natural order. There is a story about a young architect who had just joined a respected design firm. On the first day, the company owner asked the young architect to present ideas during an important meeting. Fear immediately took over. The architect felt unprepared. The voice trembled. The presentation was far from perfect. After the meeting, the owner smiled and said, "You were nervous today, but next time you will be less nervous." And after enough presentations, confidence will become normal. Years later, the architect became one of the firm's most respected leaders. Confidence did not appear overnight. It grew through repetition. Every attempt made the next one easier. One of the biggest enemies of confidence is comparison. It is easy to compare your beginning to someone else's success. You see the finished product. You do not see the years of practice behind it. You see the successful business. You do not see the failures that came before it. You see the confident speaker. You do not see the nervous beginner they once were. Comparison creates discouragement. Progress creates confidence. Instead of asking whether you are as good as someone else, ask yourself a different question. Am I improving? If the answer is yes, you are moving in the right direction. Confidence grows through progress, not perfection. Another powerful way to build confidence is by keeping promises to yourself. Every morning you have opportunities to strengthen your self-trust. You decide to wake up at a certain time. You decide to exercise. You decide to finish an important task. Each time you follow through, you send yourself a message. I can trust myself. That message becomes stronger every day. On the other hand, every broken promise weakens that trust. This is why self-discipline and confidence always grow together. They support each other. The more disciplined you become, the more confident you feel, and the more confident you become, the easier it is to stay disciplined. Preparation is another source of lasting confidence. Imagine two students preparing for an important exam. One studies consistently for several weeks. The other waits until the night before. When exam day arrives, both feel nervous, but only one has earned confidence through preparation. Preparation does not remove fear completely. It reduces uncertainty. The same principle applies to business meetings, job interviews, public speaking, athletic competitions. The better prepared you are, the more naturally confidence appears. Confidence is also shaped by the words you speak to yourself. Many people become their own harshest critics. I am not good enough. I always fail. I will never succeed. These thoughts slowly become beliefs. Beliefs influence actions. Actions shape results. Instead, learn to speak with honesty and encouragement. I am still learning. I can improve. I have overcome challenges before. I will keep moving forward. Positive thinking alone is not enough, but healthy thinking supports consistent action. Your inner voice should strengthen your determination, not weaken it. Another important lesson is accepting mistakes without losing self-respect. Everyone makes errors. Successful people are not confident because they avoid mistakes. They are confident because mistakes do not define their identity. Imagine a child learning to write. The first letters are uneven. The words are imperfect. No one expects mastery on the first day. Adults should offer themselves the same patience. Every mistake is part of the learning process. Confidence grows when you treat failure as feedback rather than proof of weakness. There is another quality that strengthens confidence: integrity. Integrity means your actions match your values. You tell the truth even when it is difficult. You honor your commitments. You act with honesty when no one is watching. People begin to trust you. More importantly, you begin to trust yourself. That inner trust creates a quiet confidence that cannot be taken away by criticism or temporary failure. Confident people also understand that they do not need to know everything. They are willing to ask questions. They are willing to seek advice. They continue learning. False confidence pretends to have every answer. Real confidence remains humble enough to grow. The strongest people in the room are often the ones who listen the most. Confidence also changes the way you carry yourself. Stand with purpose, speak clearly, maintain eye contact, smile sincerely, listen carefully before responding. These small habits influence not only how others see you, but also how you see yourself. Your body language communicates with your own mind. Strong posture encourages stronger thinking. One practical exercise is to remember your past victories. Take a few moments to think about challenges you have already overcome. Perhaps you completed your education. Perhaps you learned a difficult skill. Perhaps you recovered from disappointment. Perhaps you helped someone through a difficult time. Each memory reminds you that you are stronger than you sometimes believe. Your past victories become evidence for future courage. At the end of each day, reflect on one thing you did well. It does not need to be extraordinary. Maybe you finished an important task. Maybe you stayed calm during a difficult conversation. Maybe you kept a promise you made to yourself. These moments strengthen your confidence little by little. Remember that confidence is not about believing you will never fail. It is about believing you can handle failure without giving up. It is not believing every path will be easy. It is believing you can continue walking even when the road becomes difficult. That is lasting confidence. The people in the top 1% are not fearless. They simply trust themselves enough to take the next step. Again and again and again, you can develop that same confidence. Start with small commitments. Keep your promises. Prepare carefully. Learn continuously. Treat mistakes as lessons. Speak to yourself with respect. Celebrate your progress. Above all, keep taking action, because confidence is not waiting somewhere in the future. It is being built by the choices you make today. Every challenge you face, every promise you keep, every lesson you learn, every step you take. All of them are shaping a stronger version of you. Create that confidence every day. Protect it with integrity. Strengthen it through action, and let it become one of the greatest assets you carry throughout your life. Chapter 10. Never Stop Growing. The moment you believe you know everything is the moment your growth begins to slow. Life rewards those who remain curious. It rewards those who continue learning. It rewards those who are willing to improve, even after they have achieved success. The people in the top 1% understand a simple truth. Growth is not an event, it is a lifelong commitment. They never reach a point where they believe they have finished learning. Every experience becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a classroom. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to gain wisdom. This mindset keeps them moving forward while others become comfortable with where they are. Imagine two trees growing side by side. The first tree continues reaching toward the sunlight. Its roots grow deeper every year. Its branches become stronger. The second tree stops growing. Its roots remain shallow. Its branches become weak. When a powerful storm arrives, only one tree has the strength to remain standing. Personal growth works the same way. The stronger your foundation becomes, the more challenges you can withstand. Many people confuse experience with growth. Experience alone does not guarantee improvement. A person can repeat the same year of life 20 times without truly changing. Growth happens when experience is combined with reflection. It comes from asking questions. What did I learn? What could I have done better? What skill should I develop next? These questions transform ordinary experiences into extraordinary lessons. There is a story about an elderly craftsman who had spent more than 40 years building beautiful wooden boats. One afternoon, a young apprentice noticed the craftsman studying a new technique in an old book. The apprentice smiled and said, "After all these years, why are you still learning?" The craftsman looked up and replied, "Because the day I stop learning is the day my work begins to decline." That simple answer explains the mindset of lifelong growth. The best never stop becoming better. One of the greatest obstacles to growth is pride. Pride convinces people they already have all the answers. It prevents them from accepting advice. It discourages them from admitting mistakes. It closes the door to improvement. Humility does the opposite. Humility says, There is always more I can learn. This attitude keeps your mind open, and an open mind is fertile ground for growth. Successful people actively seek feedback, not because they enjoy criticism, but because they value improvement more than comfort. Imagine a professional athlete reviewing recordings after every competition. The athlete studies mistakes, looks for weaknesses, makes adjustments. The goal is not to dwell on failure. The goal is to become stronger before the next performance. You can apply the same principle to your own life. After completing an important project, take a few moments to reflect. Ask yourself, what went well? What could I improve? What lesson will I carry into the future? Every honest answer moves you forward. Growth also requires stepping outside your comfort zone. Comfort feels safe. Growth often feels uncertain. Learning a new language, starting a business, speaking in front of an audience, leading a team. These experiences may feel uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is often a sign that you are expanding your abilities. Think back to the first time you learned to drive a car. Everything demanded your attention. The steering wheel, the mirrors, the pedals, the road ahead. It felt overwhelming. With practice, those actions became natural. The same pattern appears whenever you learn something new. Today's challenge becomes tomorrow's strength. Do not fear being a beginner. Every expert was once in the same position. Another important habit of lifelong learners is reading. Books allow you to borrow decades of experience in just a few hours. You can learn from great leaders, successful entrepreneurs, wise teachers, brilliant thinkers. Their victories and failures become valuable lessons for your own journey. Reading expands your perspective. It helps you think more clearly. It introduces ideas you may never have considered on your own. Even reading a few pages each day creates remarkable growth over time. Growth also comes through meaningful conversations. Every person you meet knows something you do not. Listen carefully. Ask thoughtful questions. Seek to understand before seeking to be understood. Some of life's greatest lessons come from simple conversations with people who see the world differently. Curiosity opens doors that pride keeps closed. One quality that separates lifelong learners is adaptability. The world continues to change, technology evolves, industries transform, new opportunities appear. People who refuse to learn often struggle to keep up. Those who embrace change discover new possibilities. Adaptability is not about abandoning your values. It is about improving your methods while remaining true to your principles. Strong roots allow flexible branches. Another important lesson is to invest in yourself before expecting greater results. Many people hope for better opportunities. Fewer prepare themselves for those opportunities. Imagine receiving an invitation to lead a large organization tomorrow. Would your current skills support that responsibility? If not, begin preparing today. Study leadership. Improve communication. Strengthen your discipline. Develop emotional intelligence. Opportunity often arrives without warning. Preparation allows you to welcome it with confidence. Growth is also strengthened by teaching others. When you explain an idea, you understand it more deeply. When you encourage someone else, your own commitment becomes stronger. Knowledge grows when it is shared. Do not keep your lessons to yourself. Help others whenever you can. A true leader creates more leaders, not more followers. There will be seasons when progress feels slow. You may wonder if your efforts are making any difference. Do not become discouraged. Growth is often invisible before it becomes obvious. Think of a sculptor shaping a block of stone. Each careful strike removes only a small piece. The changes seem almost impossible to notice. Then one day the finished masterpiece appears. The sculpture was not created by one strike. It was created by thousands of patient actions. Your personal growth follows the same pattern. Small improvements repeated consistently create extraordinary transformation. One practical habit is to dedicate time each day to learning. It does not need to be hours. Even 20 or 30 focused minutes can make a meaningful difference. Read, listen to educational audiobooks, practice a new skill, reflect on your experiences. Protect this time as an investment in your future. Remember that the greatest competition is not with other people. It is with the person you were yesterday. Ask yourself each evening, what did I learn today? How did I grow? What will I improve tomorrow? These simple questions keep your mind focused on progress. The people in the top 1% never believe they have arrived. They understand that every level of success reveals another level of possibility. They remain students throughout their lives. They welcome correction. They embrace challenges. They stay curious. Most importantly, they never stop growing. You can choose the same path. Stay humble enough to learn. Stay courageous enough to try. Stay patient enough to improve. Stay disciplined enough to continue when progress feels slow. Because growth is not measured by where you begin. It is measured by your willingness to keep moving forward. Every lesson makes you wiser. Every challenge makes you stronger. Every day gives you another opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Never stop learning. Never stop improving. Never stop growing. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is the investment you make in yourself. Chapter 11. Surround yourself with excellence. No one succeeds alone. Every successful person has been influenced by the people around them. Parents, teachers, friends, mentors, colleagues, even the books they read and the voices they choose to listen to. Whether you realize it or not, your environment is shaping your future every single day. The people in the top 1% understand this better than most. They choose their environment with intention. They know that excellence is easier to maintain when it is surrounded by excellence. Think about placing a single piece of charcoal into a fire. As long as it remains with the burning coals, it stays hot. Remove it and place it alone on the ground. Slowly, it loses its heat. Nothing about the charcoal changed. Only the environment changed. People are much the same. The attitudes, habits, and expectations of those around you influence the person you become. This does not mean you should judge people based on their success. It means you should pay attention to the direction they are moving. Do they encourage growth? Do they inspire honesty? Do they take responsibility for their lives? Do they challenge you to become better? Or do they constantly complain? Do they make excuses? Do they discourage ambition? Direction matters more than perfection. There is a story about a young musician who dreamed of becoming a concert pianist. For years, the musician practiced alone. Progress came slowly. One day, an opportunity appeared to study with a group of accomplished performers. At first, the experience felt intimidating. Everyone seemed more skilled. Everyone played with greater confidence. Instead of becoming discouraged, the young musician watched carefully, listened closely, asked questions, practiced harder. Within a few years, the improvement was remarkable. The greatest change was not talent, it was the environment. Being surrounded by excellence raised the standard. This happens in every area of life. When you spend time with people who value discipline, discipline becomes normal. When you spend time with people who love learning, curiosity becomes natural. When you spend time with people who solve problems instead of creating them, your own thinking begins to change. The opposite is also true. Negative attitudes spread quickly. Complaining becomes contagious. Excuses become acceptable. Low expectations begin to feel normal. Without realizing it, you slowly adapt to the environment around you. That is why choosing your circle is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. Another important lesson is to seek mentors. A mentor does not have to be someone you meet every day. Sometimes a mentor teaches through books, sometimes through speeches, sometimes through interviews. sometimes through the example of a life well lived. The purpose of a mentor is not to make your decisions for you. The purpose is to help you avoid unnecessary mistakes and shorten the learning process. Why spend 10 years discovering a lesson that someone else can teach you in 10 minutes? Wise people learn from their own experiences. Exceptional people also learn from the experiences of others. Humility opens the door to wisdom. There is another quality found in excellent relationships: honest feedback. Most people enjoy compliments. Very few enjoy correction, yet honest feedback is often one of the greatest gifts another person can offer. Imagine an athlete preparing for an important competition. The coach notices a small mistake in technique. Ignoring it may feel kinder in the moment. Correcting it creates improvement. Real friends do not simply tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what you need to hear, with kindness, with respect, with your growth in mind. Value people who care enough to tell you the truth. You should also become that kind of person for others. Encourage without flattering, correct without condemning, support without controlling. Strong relationships are built on trust and honesty. One of the most important questions you can ask yourself is this: who do I become after spending time with the people in my life? Do you leave feeling inspired? Do you feel challenged to improve? Do you think more positively? Do you become more disciplined, or do you feel drained, distracted, discouraged? Your answer reveals the influence of your environment. Choose relationships that bring out your best qualities. That does not mean every conversation must be serious. Laughter matters, joy matters, friendship matters, but healthy relationships should also encourage growth. The people closest to you should celebrate your progress, not resent it. They should challenge you to aim higher, not pressure you to settle for less. Remember that your standards are influenced by the standards around you. If everyone around you accepts mediocrity, excellence begins to feel unusual. If everyone around you pursues excellence, improvement becomes the expectation. Standards are contagious. Choose wisely. Another important truth is that you cannot always choose everyone around you. You may work with difficult people. You may encounter negativity. You may face criticism. Leadership requires learning how to remain positive even when your environment is imperfect. You cannot always control who enters your life. You can control who influences your thinking. Protect your mind. Do not allow every opinion to shape your identity. Listen respectfully, think carefully, keep what is wise, leave behind what weakens your purpose. Books also deserve a place in your circle of influence. Every author you read becomes a quiet teacher. Every meaningful idea expands your perspective. Some books will challenge your assumptions. Others will strengthen your character. Choose reading material that encourages wisdom rather than distraction. A few pages each day can influence your thinking for years to come. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. People naturally enjoy being around those who appreciate them. Say thank you, recognize effort, celebrate the success of others. Encouragement costs very little, yet it often creates lasting impact. Strong relationships are built through consistent acts of appreciation. One practical habit is to regularly evaluate your environment. Ask yourself a few honest questions. Who inspires me to become better? Who consistently supports my growth? Who challenges me with wisdom? What voices influence my thinking every day? Are those voices helping me build the future I want? Reflection creates awareness. Awareness leads to better choices. Better choices create stronger relationships. Remember that excellence is not only about finding the right people, it is also about becoming the right person. Be dependable. Keep your word. Arrive prepared. Listen carefully. Treat others with respect. Lead by example. The kind of people you hope to attract are often looking for those same qualities. Become someone whose presence encourages growth. Someone who brings calm during difficulty, someone who inspires trust through integrity, someone who raises the standard simply by the way they live. The people in the top 1% understand that success is never a solo journey. Every meaningful achievement is strengthened by wise relationships. Every great leader continues learning from others. Every growing person surrounds themselves with people who make them think bigger, act better, and live with greater purpose. Choose your influences carefully. Protect your environment. Seek wisdom wherever you can find it. Encourage excellence in others. Practice excellence yourself. Because the people and ideas you surround yourself with today are helping shape the person you will become tomorrow. Choose them with care, choose them with intention, and let excellence become the standard that defines both your life and the lives of those around you. Chapter 12. Lead yourself first. Before you can lead a team, you must learn to lead yourself. Before you can inspire others, you must first inspire your own actions. Before you can earn the trust of others, you must become someone who is worthy of trust. This is where true leadership begins. Many people think leadership is a position. They believe it comes with a title. They assume leadership begins the day someone gives them authority. The people in the top 1% know something different. Leadership is not a position, it is a practice. It begins long before anyone chooses to follow you. It begins with the decisions you make when no one is watching. Imagine a captain standing at the helm of a ship. The passengers may never see every decision the captain makes, but those quiet decisions determine whether the ship reaches its destination safely. Leadership often works the same way. The invisible habits shape the visible results. The way you think, the way you manage your time, the way you respond to pressure, the way you treat people. These daily choices reveal the quality of your leadership. One of the first responsibilities of self-leadership is taking ownership of your life. It is easy to point at circumstances. It is easy to blame difficult people. It is easy to complain about situations you cannot control. Leaders choose a different path. They focus on what they can influence. They ask, "What can I do next?" That question creates movement. Complaints create delay. Action creates progress. There is a story about two workers on a construction site. A visitor asked the first worker, "What are you doing?" The worker replied, "I am laying bricks." The visitor asked the second worker the same question. The second worker smiled and answered, "I am helping build a place where families will create memories for generations." Both workers performed the same task, only one had a larger vision. Leadership begins with seeing purpose in ordinary work. When your purpose is clear, your effort becomes more meaningful. Self-leadership also requires discipline. No one else can wake up early for you. No one else can read the books you need to read. No one else can complete your responsibilities. Personal growth always begins with personal responsibility. Every promise you keep strengthens your character. Every excuse weakens it. The people who lead others well have first learned to manage themselves well. Your habits become your example. People often pay more attention to what you do than to what you say. Integrity is one of the strongest foundations of leadership. Integrity means your values remain consistent. You tell the truth even when it is difficult. You honor your commitments. You choose honesty over convenience. Imagine a bridge built with weak materials. At first, everything appears stable. Over time, hidden weaknesses begin to appear. Eventually, the bridge can no longer carry the weight placed upon it. Character works the same way. Without integrity, leadership eventually collapses. With integrity, trust becomes stronger year after year. Trust is earned slowly. One conversation, one promise, one decision at a time. It cannot be demanded. It must be demonstrated. Another quality of self-leadership is emotional maturity. Leaders do not allow every emotion to control their behavior. They remain calm during uncertainty. They listen before responding. They seek understanding before judgment. People naturally feel safe around those who remain steady during difficult moments. Calmness creates confidence. Confidence creates stability. and stability creates trust. Humility is another essential quality. Some people believe leaders must always appear to have every answer. The strongest leaders know they do not. They ask questions, they seek advice, they admit mistakes. Far from making them weak, this honesty strengthens their credibility. People respect those who continue learning. There is a story about an experienced mountain guide leading a group through difficult terrain. One afternoon, the guide stopped walking. He carefully studied the trail ahead. Someone asked, "Why are we stopping?" The guide replied, "A good leader checks the path before asking others to follow." That lesson applies to every area of life. Do not ask others to practice habits you refuse to practice. Do not expect honesty if you are not honest. Do not expect discipline if you avoid discipline. Lead by example. Your actions always speak louder than your instructions. Self-leadership also means managing your thoughts. Every day your mind is filled with countless ideas. Some encourage you, others discourage you. Some strengthen your purpose. Others create fear. You cannot control every thought that enters your mind. You can choose which thoughts deserve your attention. Focus on possibilities instead of limitations. Focus on solutions instead of complaints. Focus on growth instead of comfort. The quality of your thinking shapes the quality of your leadership. Good leaders are also dependable. When they make a commitment, people believe them. When they accept responsibility, people trust them. Dependability is not created by dramatic moments. It is built through consistency. Arriving on time, finishing what you start, preparing before important opportunities, doing your best even when no one notices. These ordinary actions create extraordinary credibility. Leadership also requires serving others. Many people see leadership as gaining power. True leadership is about creating value. Ask yourself, how can I help? What problem can I solve? How can I make life better for the people around me? The greatest leaders focus less on being important. They focus more on being useful. Service builds influence. Influence creates lasting leadership. Another important lesson is learning to make difficult decisions. There will be moments when every option feels uncomfortable. Avoiding the decision rarely improves the situation. Leaders gather information. They seek wise counsel. Then they make the best decision they can with the knowledge available. Perfect certainty is rare. Courage often means moving forward despite uncertainty. There will also be seasons when you fail. Every leader experiences them. Projects fail. Plans change. Mistakes happen. Do not allow failure to define your identity. Instead, allow it to strengthen your wisdom. Every setback teaches something valuable. Leaders become stronger because they reflect on failure rather than running from it. Growth always follows honest reflection. Take time each evening to evaluate yourself. Ask simple questions. Did I live according to my values today? Did I keep my promises? Did I treat others with respect? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions help you lead yourself with greater awareness. Self-leadership is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming intentional, choosing your actions instead of reacting to circumstances, living according to principles instead of emotions, building character instead of chasing appearances. As your self-leadership grows, something remarkable begins to happen. People notice, not because you demand attention, but because consistency naturally earns respect. Your calmness influences others. Your discipline inspires others. Your honesty encourages others. Your example becomes more powerful than your words. That is authentic leadership. The people in the top 1% understand that influence begins within. They master themselves before attempting to lead others. They develop character before seeking recognition. They build trust before expecting loyalty. You can choose the same path. Lead your thoughts with wisdom. Lead your habits with discipline. Lead your emotions with patience. Lead your actions with integrity. Every day gives you another opportunity to become the leader your future requires. Remember this simple truth. The greatest victory is not leading thousands of people. The greatest victory is leading yourself with consistency, humility, and purpose. Master that skill. Everything else will become possible because of it. Chapter 13. Create a legacy through purpose. Success without purpose eventually feels empty. You can earn more money. You can collect awards. You can achieve impressive goals. Yet if your life is driven only by personal gain, there will always be a feeling that something is missing. The people in the top 1% understand a deeper truth. Achievement is important. Purpose is essential. Purpose gives meaning to your effort. It gives direction to your decisions. It gives strength during difficult seasons. When you know why you are moving forward, you are far more likely to keep going when the journey becomes challenging. Imagine a traveler setting out on a long journey. One traveler walks without a destination. Every road seems acceptable. Every turn appears equally important. Another traveler knows exactly where they are going. They carry a map. They recognize the landmarks. Even when the road becomes difficult, they remain focused because they know their destination. Purpose works in the same way. It gives your life direction. Without purpose, distractions become more powerful. With purpose, distractions become easier to ignore. Many people spend years asking, "What do I want from life?" It is an important question, but there is another question that often brings greater clarity. What can I contribute to life? This small shift changes everything. Instead of focusing only on what you can receive, you begin thinking about what you can give. That is where lasting fulfillment begins. There is a story about an old craftsman who spent decades building wooden tables. People admired the beauty of his work. One day, a young apprentice asked, "What motivates you to put so much care into something as ordinary as a table?" The craftsman smiled. "I am not building tables. I am creating a place where families will gather. They will celebrate birthdays. They will share meals. They will encourage one another. They will create memories that last for generations." The apprentice realized something important. The craftsman was never focused only on the product. He was focused on the impact. Purpose always looks beyond the task itself. The top 1% think this way. They ask, "Who benefits from my work? How can I make someone's life better? What value can I create?" Those questions transform ordinary work into meaningful service. Purpose also helps you endure difficulty. Every worthwhile goal includes obstacles. Without purpose, obstacles feel like reasons to quit. With purpose, obstacles become challenges worth overcoming. Think about a doctor working through long nights to care for patients. The hours are demanding. The responsibility is great. Yet purpose gives strength when comfort would encourage rest. Purpose provides energy that motivation alone cannot sustain. Another important lesson is understanding that purpose grows over time. Many people believe they must discover one perfect mission before taking action. They wait, they hesitate, they search endlessly. Often, purpose becomes clearer through action rather than waiting. You discover your strengths by using them. You discover your passions by serving others. You discover your direction by taking one meaningful step after another. Do not wait for complete certainty. Begin where you are. Serve with what you have. Clarity often follows commitment. Purpose is also connected to your values. Values are the principles that guide your decisions: honesty, respect, compassion, discipline, generosity, integrity. When your daily actions reflect your deepest values, your life gains consistency. People trust those whose actions match their words. More importantly, you develop peace within yourself. A meaningful life is built one value-based decision at a time. There is another lesson that many successful people eventually learn. The greatest achievements are rarely personal. They involve helping others grow. A teacher shapes future generations. A parent raises responsible children. A mentor develops future leaders. An entrepreneur creates opportunities for employees. A volunteer serves people in need. Each of these individuals leaves behind something greater than personal success. They leave behind positive influence. That is the beginning of a legacy. Legacy is not measured by how much you own. It is measured by how many lives are better because you lived. Money can disappear. Buildings may one day be replaced. Technology will continue to change, but kindness, wisdom, integrity, encouragement, these gifts continue through the people whose lives you touch. One encouraging conversation can change someone's future. One act of generosity can restore hope. One example of courage can inspire another person to keep going. Never underestimate the impact of small actions performed with great purpose. Purpose also changes the way you view time. Instead of asking how quickly you can succeed, you begin asking how deeply you can serve. You think beyond today, beyond next year, beyond your own lifetime. You begin planting trees whose shade you may never sit under. That is the mindset of lasting influence. There will be moments when your purpose is tested. People may misunderstand your intentions. Progress may feel slow. Recognition may never come. Continue anyway. The greatest contributions are not always the most visible. Some of the most influential people in history never lived to see the full impact of their work. Faithful effort often produces results that extend far beyond what we can imagine. One practical habit is to regularly ask yourself a few important questions. Who am I becoming? What kind of example am I setting? Who benefits from the work I do? What values guide my decisions? If someone remembered my life years from now, what would I hope they remember? These questions keep your attention on what truly matters. Purpose is not found only in extraordinary achievements. It can be lived through ordinary moments, helping a friend, encouraging a coworker, listening with patience, keeping your promises, doing excellent work even when no one is watching. Purpose is expressed through daily choices. Those choices gradually become your legacy. As you continue building your life, remember that success is not the final destination. Growth matters, achievement matters, financial stability matters, but none of these become truly meaningful unless they are connected to something greater than yourself. The people in the top 1% understand this. They do not simply ask how high they can climb. They ask how many people they can lift as they climb. They build businesses that solve problems. They lead with integrity. They invest in others. They create opportunities. They leave every place better than they found it. You have the ability to do the same. Live with intention. Work with excellence. Serve with generosity. Lead with humility. Protect your values. Use your talents wisely. Help others whenever you can. Because the greatest measure of success is not the wealth you accumulate. It is the positive difference your life makes in the lives of others. One day, your achievements will become history. Your possessions will belong to someone else. Your titles will be forgotten, but your character, your kindness, your wisdom, and your influence, these will continue through the people you touched. That is a legacy worth building, and it begins with choosing a life of purpose today. Chapter 14. The Top 1% Way of Life. The top 1% is not a destination. It is a way of living. Many people believe success begins when they reach a certain income. Others believe it begins when they receive recognition or achieve an important goal. But those are only milestones. The real transformation happens much earlier. It begins the moment you choose to think differently. Throughout this book, you have discovered principles that shape extraordinary lives. You have learned the value of excellence. You have accepted responsibility. You have learned to think long-term. You have built better habits. You have strengthened your discipline. You have learned to control your emotions. You have protected your focus. You have approached problems like a leader. You have built lasting confidence. You have embraced continuous growth. You have chosen to surround yourself with excellence. You have learned to lead yourself before leading others. and you have discovered the power of living with purpose. None of these ideas stand alone. Together, they create a new way of life. Imagine building a magnificent cathedral. No single stone creates the building. Each stone supports the next. Remove one important section, and the structure becomes weaker. Strengthen every section, and the building stands for generations. Your character is built the same way. Discipline strengthens responsibility. Responsibility strengthens confidence. Confidence strengthens leadership. Leadership strengthens purpose. Every principle supports another. This is why lasting success is never created by one habit alone. It is created by the combination of many good habits practiced consistently over time. One of the greatest differences between average people and the top 1% is consistency. Average people often make decisions based on temporary emotions. Exceptional people make decisions based on lasting principles. They understand that feelings change, principles endure. There will be mornings when you do not feel motivated. Your principles remind you to continue. There will be seasons when progress seems invisible. Your principles remind you that growth often happens beneath the surface. There will be moments when failure brings disappointment. Your principles remind you that every setback carries a lesson. This is what creates stability. Not perfect circumstances, not perfect people, strong principles. There is a story about a lighthouse standing on a rocky coastline. Storms arrived every year. Powerful winds struck its walls. Massive waves crashed against its foundation. Ships passing in the darkness depended on its steady light. The lighthouse never chased the storm. It never argued with the wind. It simply remained faithful to its purpose. Because it stood firmly on a solid foundation, countless lives were guided safely through difficult waters. Become like that lighthouse. The world around you will continue to change. Opinions will change. Markets will change. Technology will change. Circumstances will change. Let your values remain steady. People trust consistency. They respect reliability. They follow those who remain calm when everything else feels uncertain. The top 1% also understand that success is not about becoming better than everyone else. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. There will always be someone with more money, someone with greater influence, someone with more experience. Comparison has no finish line. Growth does. Measure yourself against who you were yesterday. Celebrate every improvement. Learn from every mistake. Remain humble through every success. This mindset creates peace. Another defining quality of the top 1% is intentional living. Nothing meaningful happens by accident. Healthy relationships require intention. Financial stability requires intention. Strong character requires intention. Every important area of life grows when it receives consistent attention. Live on purpose. Do not allow your days to pass without direction. Wake each morning knowing what matters most. End each evening reflecting on what you learned. Small moments of awareness create extraordinary lives. One question successful people ask themselves often is, what kind of person am I becoming? Notice that the question is not, what am I achieving? Achievement matters. Character matters more. Achievements can be taken away. Character remains. Your reputation is built on your character. Your influence grows from your character. Your legacy depends on your character. Protect it carefully. The top 1% also understand the importance of balance. They work hard, but they also rest. They pursue excellence, but they also value relationships. They build successful careers, but they do not sacrifice their integrity for temporary rewards. True success includes every area of life. A wealthy person without peace is not truly successful. A powerful leader without integrity is not truly successful. A respected professional without meaningful relationships has missed something important. Real success is complete. It strengthens your mind, your character, your relationships, your contribution, and your purpose. There will always be new goals to pursue. That is part of growth. But never allow future ambitions to prevent you from appreciating today's blessings. Gratitude keeps success in perspective. Celebrate progress. Appreciate the people who have helped you. Recognize how far you have already come. Gratitude protects you from becoming consumed by endless comparison. As your success grows, remember another important responsibility. Lift others as you climb. Share what you learn. Encourage those who are struggling. Offer guidance when someone asks for help. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In fact, the room becomes brighter for everyone. The greatest leaders understand this principle. Their success creates opportunities for others. That is influence. That is significance. That is leadership. There will also be moments when life tests everything you have learned. Unexpected loss, unexpected failure, unexpected change. Those moments reveal whether these principles have truly become part of your life. Do not fear those seasons. They are opportunities to demonstrate your growth. Anyone can remain positive when life is easy. Character becomes visible when life becomes difficult. Stand firm. Stay patient. Continue moving forward. The habits you have developed will carry you through challenges that once seemed impossible. Remember that becoming part of the top 1% is not about impressing other people. It is not about proving your worth. It is about honoring your potential. You were created with abilities that deserve to be developed. You have talents that can serve others. You have opportunities that should not be wasted. The greatest tragedy is not failing to become famous. The greatest tragedy is failing to become the person you were capable of becoming. As this journey comes to an end, a new journey begins. The true value of this book will never be measured by the number of pages you have read. It will be measured by the decisions you make after closing it. Knowledge without action changes nothing. Action transforms knowledge into wisdom. Choose one principle. Practice it daily, then choose another. Keep building, keep learning, keep improving. Year after year, those small decisions will create a life that others admire. Not because it was easy, but because it was intentional. One day, people may ask, what made the difference? They may think it was talent. They may think it was luck. Only you will know the truth. It was the decision to raise your standards. It was the decision to think differently. It was the decision to act consistently. It was the decision to never stop growing. That is the top 1% way of life. It is available to anyone willing to live with discipline, integrity, courage, and purpose, including you. So move forward with confidence. Protect your character. Guard your focus. Continue learning. Serve others generously. Lead yourself wisely. And never forget this simple truth. The life you dream about is not built in one extraordinary moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary moments lived with extraordinary intention. That is how the top 1% live. Now it is your turn. Conclusion. Your journey starts now. You have reached the final chapter of this book, but this is not the end of your journey. In many ways, it is only the beginning. Over the course of these chapters, you have explored the mindset that separates ordinary living from extraordinary achievement. You have discovered that success is not built on luck. It is not reserved for a gifted few. It is not determined by where you were born, what you own, or who you know. Success is built by the choices you make every day. It is built by the standards you set. It is built by the habits you repeat. It is built by the person you choose to become. The ideas in this book are simple. That is their strength. Simple principles, practiced consistently, have the power to transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. You have learned that excellence begins with your mindset. You have learned to accept responsibility instead of making excuses. You have seen the value of thinking beyond today. You have discovered that your habits quietly shape your future. You have learned that discipline is stronger than motivation. You have learned to manage your emotions instead of being controlled by them. You have seen why focus is one of your greatest assets. You have learned to solve problems with wisdom instead of fear. You have discovered how confidence grows through action. You have embraced the importance of lifelong learning. You have seen the influence of the people around you. You have learned that leadership always begins within. And finally, you have discovered that true success is measured not only by what you achieve, but by the positive difference you make in the lives of others. These principles are now yours. The question is no longer whether they work. The question is whether you will live them. Knowledge alone has never changed a life. Every library is filled with information. Every bookstore contains wisdom. Yet information without action produces no transformation. The distance between the life you have today and the life you dream about is built one decision at a time. Not one giant leap, one decision, then another, then another. Never underestimate the power of small beginnings. A single page read each day becomes dozens of books. A single healthy choice becomes a healthier body. A single act of courage becomes greater confidence. A single disciplined habit becomes a successful life. Greatness rarely arrives all at once. It grows quietly. It grows patiently. It grows through consistency. There will be days when progress feels slow. There will be moments when you question yourself. You may experience failure. You may face disappointment. You may encounter people who doubt your dreams. Do not let those moments define you. Every successful person has walked through seasons of uncertainty. The difference is that they kept walking. Remember this whenever life becomes difficult. You do not have to move fast. You simply have to keep moving forward. One step is enough. Then take another, and another. Progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. Someone else's chapter 20 should never make you ashamed of your chapter 1. Everyone begins somewhere. The only comparison that truly matters is between the person you were yesterday and the person you are becoming today. Celebrate improvement. Learn from mistakes. Stay humble during success. Remain hopeful during setbacks. Growth is not a straight line. It is a lifelong journey. As you move forward, protect your mind. Choose your influences carefully. Spend time with people who challenge you to become better. Read books that expand your thinking. Ask questions. Stay curious. Never believe you have finished learning. The moment you stop growing is the moment you stop discovering what is possible. Most importantly, never lose sight of your purpose. Achievement without purpose eventually feels empty. Use your talents to serve others. Lead with integrity. Treat people with kindness. Keep your word. Do excellent work, even when no one is watching. The greatest legacy is not what you leave behind. It is the lives you improve along the way. Years from now, your success will not be measured only by your achievements. It will be measured by your character, by your honesty, by your generosity, by your courage, by the example you set for those who follow you. That is the kind of success that lasts. Take a moment before you continue with your day. Pause and ask yourself one important question. What is one action I can take today that my future self will thank me for? Do not choose 10 actions. Choose one. Make it clear. Make it practical. Then do it. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Because your future is not created by your intentions. It is created by your actions. Remember that becoming part of the top 1% is not about standing above other people. It is about rising above your former limitations. It is about choosing growth instead of comfort, discipline instead of excuses, purpose instead of distraction, service instead of selfishness, character instead of shortcuts. These choices are available to you every single day. No one can make them for you. No one can take them away from you. Your future is still unwritten. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity, another lesson to learn, another habit to build, another promise to keep, another chance to become stronger than you were yesterday. One day, you will look back on this season of your life. You will remember the moment you decided to stop waiting, the moment you chose responsibility over excuses, the moment you committed yourself to excellence. Perhaps that moment is right now. If it is, then let today become your new beginning. Walk forward with confidence. Stand firm in your values. Protect your discipline. Keep learning, keep growing, keep serving, keep becoming, because the person you are capable of becoming is greater than the person you have been. The journey will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Thank you for allowing this book to be part of your journey. I hope these ideas stay with you long after the final page. More importantly, I hope they become part of the way you live. Your future is waiting. Your potential is real. Your opportunity is today. Think like the top 1%. Live with purpose. Lead with character. And never stop becoming the very best version of yourself. Your journey starts now.